Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I was planning on only doing this maybe bi weekly or something, but apparently, here at the Political Minute, it is constantly something that we just need to be brought to our attention over. Today, they have issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin for removing children and taking them back to Russia from Ukraine. I know the excuse will be, what do you want me to do? Leave them in a war zone? But this is the first time that a sitting Security Council of the UN has been taken over with an arrest warrant. They can be removed from the UN. They can have all their situations unless they appear at the actual court case and appear for arraignment and everything else. With this, I do believe this is Biden's major stroke at what he's been wanting to do with his presidential power for war. He's never made the transition over from Senate, and he is a person that basically is going to go with the group. He chases a fad. The UN is basically part of his fad. As it is, we will probably be going to war here very soon. Many people on the different prepper channels, such as Tim Pool and many of the people on Southern Appalachia, the fact that there are 10 million people just missing in the census. These are people who are deployed overseas in an action of war, or else have renounced their USA citizenship for combat in Ukraine. Similar to like if you've ever seen the movie Pearl Harbor. A couple of the people renounced their USA citizenship to fly planes for Britain. And after the war, they were brought back. In the Chinese theater, it was the fabled Flying Tigers Division. With this, I do believe that we will be heading closer to a war footing. There just need to be something that could involve NATO and one or two other resolutions out there. Having people maybe not be so independent and jump the ship and send airplanes into Ukraine, like Poland is doing. That could actually be looked at as they are separate from NATO now and have gone rogue. As this situation does continue, I believe that there will be major situations coming up. Now, in this with the 10 million, I will say that there could be, honestly, instead of them all being undercover agents, 40 to 50% could be displaced peoples from the riots. In a lot of the areas that I've listened to from Tim Pool and the Southern Appalachia Homestead, these are areas that I know of that are very European based. I have traveled to these areas if he's talking about West Virginia and the Virginia interior of Maine, Virginia. If he is talking about certain places in Ohio, certain places in maybe southern Michigan, if that would be close enough to West Virginia where he's at. Just in saying this, most of the people I know from there and everything else, and yes, they travel all the way to Tennessee for mining jobs, are extremely well versed, even though they are not college educated, in European culture. From Poland in certain areas that I've already mentioned, down to Italy, over to Romania, and back across. The same thing with Southern Appalachia Homestead. If she's out in Cedar Bluff and down towards Ottawa. These people are very well versed in areas of Germany, Denmark, several of the Scandinavian countries, the Baltic Sea, England, and France, as well as Switzerland. Across the whole board, there is a lot of people that are there involved with Switzerland, and a few people with Hungary or other places like that. I've not heard of anything of depletion in the area of Spain yet. I do know that one of the mines in the local area that has a lot of Spanish to Holy Roman Empirical Spanish have shut down for safety reasons and lack of ore necessarily to be found. I noticed that there are a few places that have had the businesses turned over, and there have been quite a number of people in the Portuguese communities being asked if they would be willing to go into the military, basically being 28 to something like that people haven't known about since there is a Portuguese diocese here. They'll be working with the Pope, Vatican City, and Italy, as well as that which is a member of NATO in Portugal. That would be very close to the very entry point for most of the USA's fleets if we did go through the Straits of Gibraltar and the Mediterranean Atlantic. There has also been a call-up of many Moroccan people and people that are familiar with that, especially from old French Morocco. That's been going on about for probably since the Crimea invasion. With this, we've emptied Knoxville out 2 times very much in the Iraq combination war, as well as that which is private security going to the Philippines. And basically having a war on 3 fronts with Abu Zayd and the economic situation there. Many of the cyber hackers that have just shown back up from, I guess they got a little bit still left in them, have all of a sudden dropped out the last 6 weeks. I'd love to say that they were taking care of some rogue elements, but in a way, they're kind of like a dog with a bone. So they've been thrown back out on whatever it is that they can do. Looking at it all with this, I do believe that it is probably time to make sure you have 50 to 100 rounds of ammunition over what's in your clips, if you have them. Maybe go and take a defense class with probably a reputable company like Blackwater or something else like that. And possibly just making sure that you have 3 weeks and go grab an extra thing of waters. Do I think we need the iodine pills yet? There's nothing wrong with them. My grandmother would give it to us. She'd have a 12-month supply and they'd rotate out. And she'd give us half to a quarter tab for us kids and everything. And have one for her twice a week. Does it really mean anything? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But, those are old days from the Cold War when I was born. With this, I do believe we need to look very seriously, and I'm going to go over some of my notes from some of the different foreign national war criminals. They let them wander around here, try and figure out things. They found some art a few times out there, and it's like, yeah, East Tennessee does its stuff and everything else. But, if nothing else, for everything else, after mentioning ammunition and everything, take a time just to walk up and down your driveway, say hello to your neighbors and everything, check up on them, and just put an extra walk in for the day. It's nothing more than something that's going to help you out, especially with all the new leaves and everything else coming out, and I have lots of oxygen. This is the Political Minute. Colin Dawson signing off.